Hello, everybody. We are live, straight from Michigan, TradersPost Tutor sessions. We are going to wait for some people to join. One person. Right, I'm setting up. I gotta turn two-step authentication back on here. Okay, what are we doing? TradingView. Place, edit. One person. What a poopy day. YouTube. Share, copy. All right, everyone, I will get started because this is being recorded. My name is Trevor. I am Customer Experience Manager at TradersPost, and this is the second of our weekly webinar series called TradersPost Tutor Sessions. And the point of this stream is to answer questions. It's to go through different setups to show you how to use TradersPost as a platform. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my TradersPost screen. Give me 1 second. Share screen, dashboard. Cool. So if you look at my screen, all I have here is the futures strategy from last week. And what I'll be doing is today creating an options strategy. It's a little bit different than futures because of the directional aspect of buying and selling puts, but it's something that I'll explain. Let me share my chart as well. TradingView. And another screen. Video here. A couple people on stream. We're just gonna hide camera, keep audio. Cool. So that's set up. Great. So we got two screens. We have our TradingView window, our TradersPost window. So what is TradersPost and why does TradersPost matter? So inside of TradingView, if you have a automated strategy and you hook up your broker to TradingView, most people expect that the strategy will just trade on the broker automatically. And that's not what TradingView does. So TradingView allows you to have strategies, and we'll just show one here. Let's call momentum. Momentum strategy. So if you look at this chart, we can see trades or potential trades. So it says +2 right there. We have a couple of trades here. And what this particular strategy is doing is it's buying when it, I don't know what the parameters are, when it thinks that there's momentum, it buys 2. When the momentum shifts downwards, it sells 2, it buys 2 over and over and over again. So you can see those trades on this chart. And if you add your broker to TradingView and expect or wait for these trades to start appearing at your broker, that's not what happens inside of TradingView. Where TradersPost comes in is we enable you through the alerting system of TradingView to send this trade as a templated alert to our website, which is through webhooks. Then that trade will get sent to your broker basically instantaneously. So this is for, we're looking at SPY. And today I had mentioned that we're going to be creating a options strategy. Inside of TradersPost, starting fresh, if you don't pay attention to the futures test strategy. Actually, we're going to do that second. So inside of TradingView, we'll go back to TradingView. We can see that we have a trade on the screen. And what we would do first is create an alert. This is how I do it for all of my strategies and trades and stuff like that. We're going to do it on a very small time frame so that we're going to get plenty of trades. And what we're going to do is we will click the alerts button. And if you have other alerts in here, it's going to show all of your alerts. And we're going to click the plus sign. The condition, we're going to select the strategy that I had looked up, which is just called momentum strategy. The interval is going to be same as chart. And the message, we're going to leave that for now. This is auto-populated from TradingView. This will not work in our system, but we're just gonna leave it. SPY strategy options. Under notifications, we're just gonna leave this. We're not gonna have anything else filled in. So now, after a minute, error, saving failed. That's not good. Error, saving failed. Okay, so let's refresh our chart. Sometimes that can happen, and hopefully it's just a quick refresh away. We're gonna click back to alerts, click the plus, condition, momentum strategy, message, we're not gonna touch it. We're gonna call it momentum strategy options. Maybe it was the parentheses that screwed it up. Press create. Awesome. So there it is. And it's activating. What's great about this strategy, it does not make money, but it has a lot of entries and exits. So this is now active. So what I do on all my strategies, whether it is futures, stocks, options, crypto, I create my alert first. Typically what happens with a lot of the customers that I help on a daily basis, is they're very excited, as anyone would be, and they will kind of not rush into it, but you want to start in TradingView. TradingView is where 99% of your work happens. Your alert log, I will say it's your source of truth. So if the alerts aren't appearing in your log, then there's nothing to send to TradersPost. So sometimes people will attempt to hook up TradingView to TradersPost, hook up their broker to TradersPost, and then they'll say, well, no trades came to my broker. And I'll point out that, hey, there were no trades in your alert log, so nothing really happened. I'll explain what that means in more depth once hopefully we bounce a little bit and you'll see a long trade on our chart, and we don't just barcode for the next 20 minutes. But while we wait for that, I'm going to flip over to the TradersPost backend. So TradersPost, at its most basic, you create a strategy, and a strategy is essentially just a name, an asset class, and a webhook. Think of it like a house. Oh, I think we have a long. Okay, so it longed. If we go into our log, we can see there it is. The Json is not formatted correctly, but that was not really my concern in the first part. First part is just, is this creating alerts at all? So hopefully this will just continue to buy and sell, buy and sell. So while that's running, we're going to go back over to TradersPost. And how do I flip it this way? Nope. We're just going to stick in TradersPost for now. Okay. So TradersPost, what is TradersPost? How does it work in our backend? TradersPost, how it works and how it's set up is it's a strategy subscription model, meaning you create a strategy. And I realize that that's confusing because you have a strategy in TradingView. A strategy in TradersPost is the destination. It's like the address of a house. So for this one, we called it Futures Test Strategy, and it gives us our webhook URL. I will create a new strategy for our options strategy. You'll go to strategies and click new strategy and call this options strategy. Systematic. This is just like kind of a survey question. We're going to do options. We're going to allow any ticker. We're going to allow all these things. I'm not going to touch the subscription defaults just for the sake of this demonstration, but subscription defaults would be if you wanted to duplicate a subscription over multiple brokers, like every time you would subscribe to yourself, you would be using these settings. We're just not going to touch this for now, just for this exercise. So we save it. Awesome. If I go back to strategies, there it is. 0 subscriptions. Option strategy. Auto submit is enabled. It's enabled. Auto submit's turned on. If we click these, we can flip them back and forth. Another thing that people run into as a potential problem is they'll have auto submit enabled, but then on the actual subscription, auto submit will be disabled. So you need to have auto submit both places if that's what you're trying to do. If we click dashboard, this is fresh. There's no signals, there's no positions, there's no signal templates. If we click webhook. So this webhook, this area is where we get the webhook URL. And also it's a place where you can see the default strategy JSON. And this is what we're actually going to be copying into our alert on TradingView. So I already created my alert. It has some random JSON that was filled in by TradingView, but I'm going to copy this one. We're going to X out. We're going to go back to, how do I flip it? There. So I'm trying to figure out how to flip it to the other screen. Place? Nope. Oh, okay. Nope, it's still that one. Nope. Sorry, a little technical difficulties here. I need to know how to do that in the future. All right, we're just gonna All right, we're just going to do it this way. So back in TradingView, we have our strategy options alert that we've created. I'm going to, we can click back in alerts here, and there it lives. If I double click it, under message, this message was automatically filled in from TradingView. We're going to delete it. And now we're going to paste in the default strategy JSON from before. So if you look at what the default strategy JSON is, at its most basic, what we need for all of your trades, all of your signals, is a ticker and an action. Ticker being the ticker that you're trading, SPY, which will get filled in, and action, which is buy, sell, or exit, or cancel. There's 4 different actions. So yeah, so this will get automatically filled in. If we save it, we already longed and we're in a long, so it's not going to show a long. The next trade would be a short. So hopefully we short sometime soon. While we wait for that, we can go back into TradersPost and go back to the webhook page. And this is our actual webhook. So this is the address. Think of it like an email address. We created our strategy. We want to send trades here. How do we get our alerts to go here? We send it to this webhook. We go back into TradingView. Under notifications, we're going to click webhook URL and we're going to paste it and then save it. So if you actually look at this section on TradingView for notifications, why are we doing this again? This is frustrating. Why it's not allowing me to save. All right, we're just going to refresh the screen again. Wonder why it's doing that. All right. Webhook URL, paste it, save it. That is the actual URL. Hello. Oh man, this is so frustrating. Alert saving failed. Dang, this is not going to work. All right, well, a cell came in, so we can at least look at that. So I had, when we created this originally, we used the strategy JSON that TradingView provides. In the middle of this open trade, we edited it and put in the default strategy JSON from TradersPost. So now we can see that it filled it in for ticker, the action is sell, the sentiment is short, quantity is 2 with the price and the interval and everything. So it's just flipping back and forth. SPY, sell to be short, SPY, buy to be long, over and over and over again. Oh man, what? This is not good. All right, let's try to clone this. Delete this one. So you're seeing troubleshooting live in action here. Sometimes TradingView is slow. They're not known for speed at times, especially with alerts. Webhook URL, paste it. Okay, I think we're in the clear. Oh man, this is so annoying. Let me try something else, I guess. Maybe this has something to do with two-step authentication. So in order to use webhooks, you have to have two-step authentication turned on. And I do have that turned on, but I'm wondering if I should log back out and log back in. TradingView. All right, I'm gonna log back out and log back in, log out and log back in. Sign in. Sorry. Let's see TradingView. All right. Gosh. So slow. TradingView. This is what's great about doing things live. But sometimes you have issues. Copy. All right, I log back in. Log back in. All right, let's see if we can. Everyone hold their breath. All right, I think that's it. Okay, that was weird. Anyway, I turned off, or no, I logged back out and logged back in. So that can be an issue too. So if you're just experiencing weird things, at minimum, refresh your screen. At maximum, hopefully sign out and sign back in. Okay, so we have buy to be long. Let's see. So now we have to wait for the next short trade. So if we go back to TradersPost and click strategies, so the signal is going to be sent here. And I'll tell you how options work that are different than futures and stocks. It'll be easier to demonstrate once trades come through. But essentially on an options strategy, you're going to be trading the underlying ticker. You're going to be trading SPY. And because of that, when you send a buy, that's bullish. Sending a buy would mean that you would be buying a call. Sending a sell would mean that you're buying a put, and so on and so forth. So for this demonstration, I'll show you that we're ultimately going to be buying calls. And then when the next sell comes in, we'll be selling the call and then buying a put and going bearish. So you're just flipping from bullish to bearish. It's very similar to how futures and stocks work, but since we're buying and selling puts and calls, it's slightly more confusing. What makes it the most confusing is that if you try to run this on a options contract, like if you were trading the put chart on TradingView, if you were buying a put, if you're buying on the put chart, that would be a bullish, if you were trading the put chart. On TradersPost, buying is actually bullish, which is buying a call. So if you want to trade on the options contract, you would have to invert your actions. I'll explain what that means in a little bit, but now we're just kind of waiting on this trade to come in. Okay, nice. 15-second chart gives us some excitement. So we look back on TradersPost. So what have we done so far? We've created an option strategy. We haven't subscribed to it yet. While we're waiting for this trade to come in, why don't we subscribe? Oh, we only have futures brokers. So we have to add a new broker. If we click brokers, I'm just going to use the TradersPost paper broker, and we'll do connect broker. TradersPost paper. We're going to leave all these things the same, and we're just going to click save. So now if we click connect to a strategy, we can choose our option strategy. We're going to create the subscription. And now you get to see all the subscription settings. So by default, this is set to manual submit. So I'm going to turn on auto submit. Options is what it is. I'm not going to change any tickers or filter it by ticker. So this is where options are different than futures. So for what we're going to do, we're going to be doing both. So the option type default is both. Yes, that is true. I'm going to be doing both. So what that means is if we send a buy, it's going to be buying a call. If we send a sell, is going to be buying a put. This is where you can set up which actual option you want to trade, because all we're sending in our alert, as we've shown before, is we're just sending a buy, you know, and at its most simple, we're sending SPY buy. We go back to TradersPost. What I want to do is I'm going to do in the money. We're going to do plus 1 day. So I want it to be tomorrow. If I wanted to trade 0 days, you could say 0 day. But I'm going to do plus 1 day. Strike count. So this is a scanner. So if I know that I want to do 1 strike in the money. In the money, 1 strike. The strike count, you want it to at least be double the amount of, because like right here, I'm saying this is the current price of SPY. I want to be in the money in one strike. So I don't need 12. I mean, 12 would be overkill because you don't need to see 12. The more strikes you do, the longer it could potentially take to do the scan. So you only really want to do how many, like twice what you would typically. So like if it's 1 strike away, I'll say 4. And if you see, it gives you basically another strike on the opposite side. So putting 12 would be just overkill. So we're doing both calls and puts in the money, 1 day expiration, 4 strike count for our scanner, and we're going to do one strike away. Allowed sides is both. So by default, it's set to bullish. I'm going to do both, meaning that I want to take both bullish and bearish trades. What I mentioned before is called side swapping, meaning when we're going from long to short and short to long, we want to have this side swap, meaning that TradersPost will send ultimately 2 trades every time that you have an alert. It's going, if you're long and you send a sell, it's going to exit the long and go bearish, so buy a put. When you are in a put and a buy comes in, we're going to be exiting the put and buying a call automatically. So that's what side swapping is. That's what our strategy does. It's just buying 2, selling 2, buying 2, selling 2. I'm not going to touch the trading window. We're going to do the position size of 2, which is coming from our actual alert. You can see 2. If I wanted to override that, so allow signal override means that the signal, the Json, is going to be the thing that we're going to use. I don't want that. I'm going to click fixed, uncheck allow signal override, and I'm going to do a fixed quantity of 1. Entry order type, we're going to do market, also market. So for TradersPost paper, we don't support bracket orders. All other brokers besides TradersPost paper, depending on the type of asset that you're trading, you can check out. Oh, there's a nice little drop. You can check out our list of connections on our website, and it spells out exactly which brokers and exactly which asset types support brackets. But the TradersPost paper account does not support bracket orders. So I'm just going to be buying and selling straight up. We're going to save it. And it's saved. Now we can see it's disabled. So if I click strategies, we have an option strategy that says 0. Why does it say 0? Because this one's still disabled. So if we click the word disabled, it'll flip to enabled. You can also do it from your subscription list. We can just flip back and forth. All right, we just gotta sell. Oh, it just did it. So let's look strategies. Sell. Awesome. So this is TradersPost. This is how it works. In 30 minutes, which should have been a lot quicker, but I couldn't get my TradingView to work properly. What did we do? We added a strategy to our chart. We created an alert. We let the alert run a couple times to make sure that it's working. We created a strategy for options inside of TradersPost. We added a paper broker. We subscribed to it. And now this is it. Like I keeping it simple, keeping it slow is how you're going to master TradersPost and how you're going to at least get to having a trade. So now if we click signals, this is where all of our trades are listed, all of our signals. So every alert that gets sent to that webhook lives here. And if you see, my mouse turns gray when I hover over this. I can click it and you can see the actual signal, like an email. This was sent to that webhook address. If I click this, because this is also turning gray, perfect. So what happened? It was a sell. I had said it to be in the money 1 day, 4 strikes in the scanner, 1 strike away for strikes, or 1 strike in the money. And what did it do? If we click quote, we can see here's the quote of that put. And we bought 1 put because I also said that I wanted to have a quantity of 1. Position size, I said I don't want the signal to be sending the position. I don't want it to override. I want to use the position here. So now we got to wait for this to short. Nope, we got to wait for it to long, sorry. I don't know if it's going to long. Today was a silly day. Let's wait for a long. All right, now I gotta wait for this thing to long. So yeah, TradersPost is one of those things where when you first start using it, it appears confusing because there's a lot of screens. I'm not saying that it's not confusing, but once you get all of the inner workings of it, it's easy to like speed run what I just did. Obviously, I've been doing this every single day for almost 2 years from being a customer, almost longer than that. Yeah, it's crazy. It'll be 2 years in May of being a customer of TradersPost as well as working for TradersPost. It's wild. Anyway, speed running strategies when you know how it works is not difficult to do once you understand the system. And understanding that TradersPost is a strategy and it's a subscription. So every time you want to add a new broker, you subscribe to it. You subscribe to your strategy over and over and over again. Hopefully we get a long here. Come on, give me a long. Come on, give me something. Come on, give me a long. Okay, we just gotta wait for this thing to do a long here. So yeah, these these free strategies inside of TradingView are great for just getting your strategy to be firing something. If you want to test out a setup, you can put a strategy on your chart that's going to be entering and exiting, and you can very quickly go, okay, this is what it's supposed to look like. That's the biggest challenge with TradersPost, is just not knowing what it's like, what a setup works and how it looks when you first start, because you log in and it's completely blank. So being able to at least look at this and go, oh, okay, I have an alert. I have an alert. I have a message. I have a webhook. I have a strategy. I have a signal. Ooh, it bought. Oh, why did it not buy? Failed. Connection reset by peer. Awesome. Interesting. Well, that is not ideal. Maybe let's try to push this through manually. So I'll show you a fun feature of TradersPost is being able to send a manual signal. So if you go to your strategy dashboard, we can actually send a signal. So we search for a ticker, and we're going to go buy, and we're just going to say buy and see what happens. And that one went through. So we'll go back to strategies and then click signals, click buy. Cool. And now you can see this is what side swapping is. Side swapping means that we were in a put expiring tomorrow. I sent a buy, which is bullish. The put was exited and a call was bought. So we're just over and over and over again, because what I said before, at minimum, we just need a ticker and an action. And this is exactly what it did. I don't know why the first one erred. That's interesting. I think I heard a ding. We did a short. So let's go back to strategies, signals. All right, now we're selling. We'll ignore this one. So we sold. I mean, this strategy does not make you any money for sure. Oh, actually we made $4 and we made $4 twice in a row. So what happened here? We were long a call, and then we exited the call and then bought a put. And now we just did the same thing over and over again. So if there's any sort of choppiness, especially in the 15-second chart, like these strategies do not make money, but they're fun. Let's go back to strategies, back to signals. There it is. We're just buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling. So every time you click it, you can see, hey, we made $16. Nice. And another cool thing is if you go to if you click strategies again, click dashboard next to the strategy you're talking about, not only can you send manual trades. So let's say we were going QQQ just for fun. And we did the same thing, buy QQQ. There it is, we're long QQQ. Oops, I want to exit that. Let's click exit, exit QQQ. And now it's sold it. Cool. So what I was saying before is there is a feature where you can create JSON signal templates. So if you wanted to add a bracket order for a broker that supported it, and you wanted to include that in your actual JSON, instead of having to figure that out using our documentation or asking the AI chatbot, you can come in here. And what we're going to do is let's just do SPY again. You can create JSON templates, meaning that we click buy. If you look on the bottom, that's what the signal would look like. let's say that we wanted to have a quantity of 4. We want to have a take profit, a percent, let's say, of 20%. So this take profit percent is based off of the options chart, the options quotes that we're receiving. So if you placed an order and your option was quoted as $5 or something, we're going to place a take profit at $6 at the broker. We're going to send that take profit to your broker. Let's include a stop loss as well. We'll do a stop market. We're going to percent of 40%. We're going to do that. So right now there is no price. So that wouldn't work if we were sending this to, that wouldn't work if we were sending it to the broker because we do need a price. No, that's a lie. For futures, we need a price. For options, we wouldn't need a price. So for this, like we look at this and we go, okay, here's the ticker, the action's buy, take profit percent is 20, stop loss percent's 40. I like that. I think I'm probably going to use that in the future. We're going to click save signal template. We're going to call this SPY options buy. The signal source is TradingView. We're not going to use the hard-coded ticker. So using hard-coded ticker would be if you really wanted to put in the actual ticker. That's more for futures. So if you look, we can see that this is the JSON that we'd be saving. The ticker, the actions buy, quantities for, take profit, stop loss, the time, the signal price, and the interval. And we save that. We refresh. And why? Interesting. Let's do that one again. Stop loss, what I say, 40%. There we go. That's annoying. Okay, so this one is the SPY options buy. So let's say that we wanted to do the same thing for the sell. We can just copy it. No, that's not true. Can we duplicate them? I don't think we can duplicate them, but we could copy it. Well, it's still up here. We could copy it. That's another cool thing is you can paste in JSON. So let's say we paste it in here. We're going to do ticker SPY, and we're going to do action of sell. So now there's our sell. Let's save that one. SPY options sell, TradingView. So now there's the sell. We save that one. Boom. So now we have these two signal templates. Let's go back to signals. Now we can see another put came in. Cool. So this is side swapping. We were long calls. We exited the call and we bought a put. And this is just doing this over and over and over again. So using side swapping is a great way to have a indicator potentially. If you have an indicator in TradingView that just only shows buys and sells signals, you could create essentially a strategy within TradersPost. Like TradersPost gives you that kind of logic where you just send a buy, you just send a sell, it's going to buy, it's going to go short, it's going to do all those things, whether it's futures, options, stocks, crypto. It's going to side swap, and yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to not have like an actual strategy in TradingView and just have buy and sell signals and be able to send that to a broker potentially. Let's go over what we did today. We added a strategy to TradingView called Momentum Strategy that's built into TradingView. We created an alert. We named it. We selected the condition. We took this from Traders Post, this default strategy, Json, we pasted it in. We got our webhook from our strategy. So until you have a strategy, you have no webhook. But what I like to do is I'll like to create the alert first, worry about the webhook after, get my alerts working where they make sense, and then hook it up afterwards. I like to take it slow. So what we ended up doing is creating a strategy called options strategy. If you click dashboard and click webhook, we can see that that is where the webhook URL is. This is where the strategy JSON comes from. We ultimately subscribe to it by clicking subscribe. We chose our broker. We created our subscription settings using all of those things. And now we are buying and selling calls and puts within minutes. Does this make money? Well, no, because it's running on the TradersPost paper account, but maybe it won't make money. But as a demonstration of how TradersPost works on options, this is this is it. I would recommend if you are if you have the ability to like if you're serious about this and you really enjoy tinkering with strategies and indicators and automations and stuff like that, TradeStation is a great broker especially if you're based in the US and have access to having TradeStation. It has all of the assets and options. Specifically, you can send bracket orders to TradeStation or one of the other connections that supports brackets on options. And you could be sending take profits and stop losses and get all that stuff going. But yeah, that is our session for today. Next week, we'll be working on a stocks strategy, which is even simpler than options. It's basically the same as what you do on futures. So we'll be going over a lot of the same things. If you watch this and are interested in asking follow-up questions, you can do that on our chat. So on the bottom right corner of your TradersPost dashboard, you can actually send us a message that goes to Finn, our AI chatbot first, and they're pulling from our documentation. So you could be asking questions in the middle of the night, and I'll see conversations of hours and hours people had with the chatbot, and it'll format JSON for you. It'll tell you how to set things up. You can send it screenshots and signal URLs. It'll be able to tell you what's going on. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, send us a question. You can also send an email to support@traderspost.io. It all comes the same place. But my name is Trevor. This was the TradersPost Tutor sessions for Wednesday, February 4th. We went over an option strategy. And yeah, happy trading, and feel free to ask any follow-up questions, and hopefully we see you on our platform and sending your first trade. Thanks, everybody.